Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for the VICKI BOUTIN design team and I am so excited because this week we get to play with the sketch that Jana, one of our design team members, provided for us. And this is a very versatile sketch. You can use it for layout, for cars, for traveler's notebooks. In my case, I'm going to adapt it from an 8.5 sketch to a 12 by 12 layout. And the pictures that I'm documenting are of my niece, which is a hoot. And a couple of weeks ago, it was my nephew's birthday, and she decided to wear the party hat as a unicorn horn. So I pulled a few of the pictures, and I am going to stay really true to the sketch. The only difference that my focal point is not going to be the squares that you see, it's going to be the circles that you see on the background. So I am going to transform the square picture into circle pictures. And for this, I am using a 3-inch circle guide. These are from I have it from another DT, and I'm just gonna cut the pictures. Now, like I said before, I am gonna use a foundation paper that was pre-gesso, and I am gonna work with a rainbow theme. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay very true to the sketch, but I'm dividing the page into cool and warm set. Warm set is gonna be on the right hand side, and the cool set is gonna be on the left hand side. And think rainbow. I'm going to start from yellow all the way to pink and then move on to the other side from purple not to green. So I'm playing with the watercolor markers, and the first thing I did is I added a little bit of water to my page. Since it's yes, so the water is going to stay on top of the paper, so it's going to give me time to move the watercolor around. And then I'm starting with crushed pineapple, which is the yellow tone, and the watercolor markers, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of the pigment and move it around just to give me that watercolor look. And then I'm gonna continue playing with the colors. I think the one I'm using right now, I'm not gonna, to be honest, I'm not gonna say that I don't know the name. I just don't remember if it's, I think it's Candy Floss, but it's that kind of corally tone that comes in Biggest watercolor set. And again, I'm trying to work the warm tones like continuously. I'm not stopping to the colors to dry because I just want to have the variation of color. Once I have that ready, you're gonna see that because I think it's so pale, I'm gonna add a few more drops of the watercolor marker straight onto the page and move it around. And then I'm going into the pink tone. That's what I'm gonna end up, this little column. You're gonna see that I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna set everything on my little, not on my mat, on my layout. And then I'm gonna come back after a little bit and just give it a second coat of the watercolor in some areas because I just wanna darken the space. Because I have the yeso and the watercolor, I'm adding water to the watercolor because I don't want it that pigmented. It becomes really light. So just keep that in mind. Now, once that dried a little bit, I flip the page and I'm going to start working with the other colors. I'm starting with the purple. Now, what you have to keep in mind is that this purple, when you add it on yeso, it becomes neon. And once I added it and it started drying up, I realized how neon it looks. And honestly, it does tend to be a little bit on the neon side. So just keep that in mind. These are things that I suggest that you swatch your watercolors, swatch them in plain paper, and then swatch them with a little bit of yeso, so just that you have an idea of how they react. Now, once I add my purple, I'm gonna go with some blueberry pie, then some blue Hawaiian, and I'm gonna end up, I believe it's with a juicy pear, or yeah, I'm just gonna go from the purple into the bluish kind of purplish tone, then go into a teal, end up with the green. Now, once I pull out the paper towel, you're gonna see that I kept the design pretty much as it said on the sketch. Like the right hand side of the page is a little bit lower, even the watercolor is a little bit lower, and the left hand side a little bit higher. So they're not at even I'm gonna say mirror images or mirror, and in this case mirror spacing. It's just gonna be one's a little bit higher than the other one. And then I'm gonna set it aside to dry. It took a little while to dry, and even though I added yeso, the paper did warp a little bit. And I think it has to do with the fact that when I added the yeso, I did not add yeso to the center part because I knew where I was gonna put the watercolor. So it kind of warped a little bit. Now you're gonna see here that I'm gonna bring in my pictures just to have an idea where everything is gonna sit. Now, if you guys know me, then you guys know I'm gonna play with mixed media. And those circles on the background just give me the idea that when I'm gonna add a few accents of black and just create layers of mixed media. And I thought that wherever I added the stamp, and I'm using the stamp from, I think, Escape. That's from the Field Notes collection. I really love those dashes and some archival ink. I thought that where I'm gonna add the images, that's where we're gonna add the little circle accents. You're gonna see what I'm gonna do for that. And then I'm also gonna bring a little bit of texture. I don't want the paper to be so flat. So I'm using one of the botanical stencils, and this is the one with the big circles full of polka dots. And I'm not gonna add it like completely, I'm gonna say following the stencil. I'm actually gonna spread a little bit of iridescent glaze in some areas. I'm gonna try to cover or put the iridescent glaze on top of the stamp set. It is gonna cover some of the stamping, but it's also gonna be a little bit of texture. And I'm gonna set aside everything to set aside to dry. While that was drying, I cut a few papers using my circle cutter into 3 inches, 3 1/4, and then I also fussy cut those rainbow hearts. The way that I fussy cut the hearts was I cut one craft and one of the color corresponding to the rainbow colors. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just playing with the circles. I cut a few from the worm set. The yellow paper is from the Field Notes collection. I just needed something yellow, and then the rest and the papers in the worm side. Besides the cork, you see that craft paper which has the cameras, that's from Color Kaleidoscope. But then the ones over at the right hand side, they come from the Field Notes collection, and the ones on the left hand side, the blue circle, comes from Vicky's 6x8 paper pad. I just wanted to get to those right colors. Now you're gonna see here that instead of those, if you see the sketch has those little like dark circles, I am bringing hearts. And what I did is I cut the big 12x12 paper pad, and then I cut also some hearts from the 6x8 paper pad. And what I did is I cut one of the craft, because I have the craft circle behind the picture, and one that had that watercolor look. So what I make sure is if I cut a full heart that was watercolor, the little heart that I cut out of the 6x8 was the one that had that craft design, or vice versa. So if I cut the big heart that had the craft look, then I will cut the little heart that had the full color. Now that I have, and I took it off camera and just stitched through the center line of the heart, because I knew that I wanted to add that dimension by just kind of curling the sides of the heart. Now, because I like the way it's set, and I don't want to move stuff around, you're gonna see that I'm actually gonna bring my my stapler, my mini attacher, just to keep everything in place. And then I'm gonna add some foam adhesive behind the pictures just to make sure that it stands out from the circles. And then I'm gonna glue them straight onto where I had them, just because I don't want, like I said before, I don't want to move stuff around. And now that I have that set, I'm gonna actually put a little bit away and set it to dry completely, because you know when there's yeso, things don't dry that nicely, they tend to move. Now that I have that in place, I'm gonna start playing with the hearts. So my idea is I'm gonna use them kind of in the same way that there are in the sketch. You see the little circles behind the layers of the pictures. So all I'm gonna do is kind of have the hearts in this case cascade along the vertical line through the circle. So I'm just going the same, kind of following, color blocking what I have at the back. So pink on pink, orange on orange, blue on blue, and so on. And I know what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna add a little bit of foam adhesive behind them just because I want some of them raised and some of them to stay flat. So I played also with dimension. Now for my title, I kind of had a hard time coming up with a title. And then I saw these iridescent chipboard stickers, and I thought they were perfect because it's gonna catch all the colors of the rainbow by the way you move the paper. So once I put them on my layout, I realized that I needed to give them some dimension. So I took it off camera and adjusted a little bit of foam adhesive behind each one of them. And that's pretty much all that's going to take for the decorating. I'm going to add 2 clusters to the side of the pictures, and I'm adding some chipboard. I'm also going to use some of the puffy stickers and some of the cardstock stickers just to create mirror image clusters kind of situation. So I'm going to set a chipboard and then a little circle, and then you're going to see that I even bring this little white heart that has the same holographic look. Then I'm using some of the puffy stickers. You're going to see that I bring those little stars that had the rainbow look. And at the end, when you see, I also bring from the word stickers, you know, the beautiful puffy stickers. I also bring some of those little dashes just to continue the look that I have with the stamping. And that's pretty much all that I'm going to do for the embellishment. Now, the original sketch has these little pieces or strips of paper at the bottom of the layout. So I'm going to try to work with a similar design. And just to create the definition of the 2 different levels, or the 2 different, I'm going to say levels where the pictures are like, you know, one higher than the other one, I'm going to start with some washi tape. And I decided to use the washi tape that had that stripe, that holographic stripe with white. And I glue it kind of on a little slant at the bottom. And then I've continued with the last paper that I used. In that case, that greenish paper. I'm going to use the one from the Color Kaleidoscope, the one that comes with a little floral. The back has this really nice lime green. So I'm going to add a piece of that. And on the top, I did the same thing. First, I added a piece of washi tape. And then I'm going to add, actually, the paper that I use at the top is the back of the rainbow heart paper because it had a beautiful pink tone. And then I'm just going to create similar clusters. I'm going to use hearts because, like I said, I'm using hearts like they're cascading from, I'm going to say, these little corners. And then I'm going to add a chipboard just to continue the look that I already have on the picture, and a little round puffy sticker. Again, I'm trying to follow in continuity and also repetition just to create a cohesive look on the layout. Just to finish this layout, I'm going to scribble a little bit of the black art crayon and dilute it just to add a few, I don't know, droplets. The only thing is that I remember is that I have yeso on the background. So when you add your droplet, sorry, because it's so liquidy, it just kind of widened. It didn't stay as little droplets. But that's about it. I love how this turned out. I love the colors. I love the play on the hearts and the circles. There's a lot of movement to the layout, and I hope you try the sketch. I would love to see what you create with it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. And thank you so much for joining me today. Take care, guys. See you next week.